Hi, Pistols.
Good afternoon, evening.
Night.
Yeah.
Come on in. It's trigger time. I don't know. Something seemed kind of awkward about the light, huh?
Yeah. I'm saying. I think we're gonna do the second one.
Ooh,
Look kind of romantic on it.
a little bit. Let's try again. Ooh.
Which one you
What
like
y'all
better?
think about the light, y'all? We're going to give y'all some choices. You like this one or that one? Or. Is that the same one?
It's probably a different one, I thought.
Y'all in here. It's holiday season, y'all. It is holiday season. So while we're waiting, while we're waiting for people to come into the live, y'all tell me something. What are your plans with your family tomorrow? Like, what traditions do you look forward to around this time? What food do you look forward to eating? Like, what's up? What y'all got planned for tomorrow? I hope it's safe. Y'all know I ain't playing with Corona. Somebody said, gobble, gobble, I'm a turkey, eat me. What y'all doing tomorrow? Okay, what you doing tomorrow?
I'm cooking. You know I'm cooking. But my favorite thing to do would be my big family get together. I am going to miss that. Seeing all my aunties and having my favorite thing from my auntie Mel, which is her lemon pie. So it's gonna be kind of different because usually even if I cook, we still, you know.
I absolutely hate pie. Somebody said sitting on the couch and eat crab legs and shrimp.
Ooh,
Baby, that
good.
sounds like a plan. Shamika said chilling. So tomorrow we actually supposed to fire up the grill.
Okay.
And it was my sister's idea. She was like, what y'all want to eat for Thanksgiving? I think we need to just throw some steaks and salmon on the grill. One, I ain't want no salmon. I love salmon because I love fish, but I'm on the keto diet right now, and I'm just salmon the fuck out. So I'm straight, baby. If it ain't no fried catfish, I'm a pause on the fish right now. But what else y'all doing? It's too many wines, so we gotta love from afar. It's a lot of wines.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Most of the time I feel like an honorary wine, you know. At one time, the Wayans got to fighting, and they lied and said that I got to fighting too, and I was with y'all. I wasn't even with y'all. They just said that I was with y'all. I guess I be with the wine so much that
it's so many.
Yeah, one fight, they all fight. It wasn't even me. But, you know, if it was me, you know what it would have been. I love my wines, baby.
So I don't want to see nobody tomorrow. Yeah, Erica, you do cook. That's my pizza lady. The pizza is.
Well, Tippy, I drove all the way to Memphis and got my mama's dressing and a cake from Dabsy. You drove all the way to Memphis for dressing and cake. Baby, you don't care nothing about that road. You need to just go on and be a pilot for Delta or something so you could just fly. Because at this point, your ass don't even... What county you stay? Are you in Davidson County? Where you at, Timothy? You don't even be there. So, look. This episode, which is our 8th episode, we have made it 2 months. Something that we was only supposed to do like 4 episodes, but you know, I guess we became loved or whatever. So this episode is about blended families. Okay, so I'm Dawn.
I'm Kay.
And this is Triggered. So by definition, blended families are when you or your spouse enter into a relationship with children. So it's like you and your crew and me and my crew, and we get together and rendezvous. One of those type of things, right? Who said that, Biggie? So it's one of those type of things. So that is a blended family. And y'all know me, I'm team stepdaddy all the way. So blended families are everything, I hope. So I ain't never actually been married, but it sounds good. But we know that it comes with some challenges and it comes with some struggles. Now, Kay, you have a blended family, right?
I do.
So I know you can share some experience about blended family.
Yes, I can.
I don't think my situations have been classified as blended families. My situations be like, your boyfriend is somebody's baby daddy, you know. So yeah.
So we wait on our guest.
I thought you was gonna tell us about your blended family.
Okay. Well, I'm a blended family. I came to the table with two teenage boys. Well, Lana wasn't a teen yet, but I came with a teenager and a preteen. To a guy who didn't have any children, and and bringing teen boys. A lot of guys don't want to deal with it. They like to catch them when they're younger, or they out. Like mine's like in the in between stage. And I also have a father who's super involved. So there's also another element when it comes to blending families as well, I think. That people don't think about. That if the family is super involved, there's also a dynamic that people don't think about when you're trying to grow your own family in your own house, but it's a super involved father as well. But we'll talk about that more.
Go ahead and put Sam on. He said add him. Baby, I romanticize the idea of blended families. But
Hey, what's going
Hey
on, y'all?
Sam.
Y'all doing all right? Good.
Yeah,
Can y'all hear me?
good.
Cool.
Yes,
we
we can hear
Perfect.
can.
you.
Perfect.
So talk to us, Sam. Do you have a blended
Well,
family?
yes and no. I'm gonna I'm in a little bit of a different type of situation. Actually, I say yes, I am. Actually, me and my wife have gotten a divorce. But when we got together, we did. Well, actually, I didn't have any kids at the time, but she had a son, and so we had children together, three children, three beautiful children together, and which created a blended family at that particular time. So I was very proud to become a dad, even before I had my own son. And but as you mentioned before, having a blended family is a wonderful thing, but it also comes with challenges. So it's great. It was a great experience. He's still my son, and we still talk to each other. And he's got three younger siblings now that he didn't have before. So there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of benefits, and there's a lot of challenges at the same time, though.
So let me ask you this. How easy was relationship building with her? She had a
Mm-hmm.
son,
Mm-hmm.
right? How easy was relationship building? Like, was that a challenge? Did he put up a fight? Did you deal with you ain't my daddy, shut
No,
up?
no,
Like, how
no. I know some people that some guys that had that situation, but I didn't. He was very welcoming. He was very accepting. He took to me, right after me and her met. And we initially spent a lot of time together, just getting to know each other. And I think that's important for men in particular. I speak from, if I can, from the perspective of men tonight. It's very important for men that meet women that have children, and particularly sons, daughters, whatever, to get to know the children, and get to build a relationship with them, because you're not just marrying their mom, you're marrying the family. You're becoming a part of their family the same way they're becoming a part of yours. So it's important to build a relationship, but we didn't have that. We took to each other, I would say, kind of right off the bat, and we just got close and developed our relationship from there.
was his father involved? I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
absolutely. I met his dad early on, and it was never one of those situations where it was, any drama or beef between the two. I'm his real daddy, and you blah blah blah, none of that kind of stuff. And it was right off the bat. We had an understanding, as men, that I'm gonna be spending time not taking your place, and I think that's something that guys need to understand, is you're not taking the place of a child's father. You're just, you're filling a role, and there's a caveat to that as well. But we should, in that particular situation, you have to take on the village mentality, and you become an integral part of a young man, a young lady's life, and you share in that responsibility of raising their child, and that's exactly what we did since day one.
Okay.
How old was he
He was
when you
7.
met his mom?
He was 7, so he was young.
7.
Yeah, he was young.
That's a good.
Age.
I think that's. I would think like when when it comes to being, when you say not taking a place but fulfilling a role, do you ever feel like, I always see this from other guys, like being a stepfather, that on some things you didn't have say so on versus some
Oh,
things
that
you did. Like, did you ever
that
feel
that's
that?
that comes apart. That's a part of it. In all honesty, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Again, like you're not that child's biological father, so there's some rights and privileges that come along with being a biological dad. And when you're not, when you're a
Mm-hmm.
stepdad, there are boundaries. And regardless if the mom is cool with it or not, there's still boundaries, and you have to exist within those boundaries and still do the job of. And it's difficult, it really is difficult to raise somebody and treat them as your own, but not have the full privileges of calling them your own. But that's something that I would, implore any guy that's a potential stepfather in any situation to consider that first, because that's a
Yeah,
deal breaker for some people. For some people, it's not.
and that, and I've been on that same side when it came to me playing a role in in a girl's life. It's like I had all the responsibilities of the
Hmm.
mother, but I didn't feel like I had the benefits of being a
Right.
mother. They're making it so, it was like I had the responsibility to make sure like she was on my
Right.
insurance, um,
She was
she
fed,
was fed.
her hair was
I
done,
had to take her to the
whatever
school.
Right.
extracurriculars.
Right.
Yeah, I had to take her
Right.
birthday parties and all this kind of stuff. But when it come down to it, I'm not the
Right.
mom, and the mom gets
Right.
credit. Wherever they get credit. So I had to understand that it wasn't about me. And so a lot of times with my husband, I always ask him like, "Hey, do you feel like your role is respected? Do you feel like you have say so?" Because I always try to make sure that he has say so. Like if Quentin come and say, "Hey, I want to
Right.
go do this," being a mom, I had to be like, I gotta let them work their stuff
Right.
out. As far as especially being a teenager, I have to let them figure that out and let him make some decisions because I feel like for me too, I got them to let them I have to make sure they understand that he has as much say so in his
Right.
house as me. So a lot of things I have to
Right.
divert to him. Like, hey,
Right.
you gotta handle
Right.
that.
Right.
You gotta
Right.
ask
Right.
him.
Exactly.
I think that's important too when you trying to blend a family. Let them know like, hey, he take care of this house
Right.
like I do or more than I do. So you need to make sure that
Right.
you respect him and go
Right.
through him as
And it's
well as
important.
me.
It's important
So
for
I try.
moms to do that right off the bat. I agree.
Yeah.
I want to ask both of y'all a question. Do you think that it's easier for men to blend than it is for women to blend? And I'm gonna
That's a
go a
great
little
question.
further to say that I think that this is my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that men don't challenge other men as much as women challenge other women. I think that a woman coming in playing a stepmother role, because usually, you have active mothers,
Mm-hmm.
even if she a bum bitch or deadbeat,
Mm-hmm.
she's still probably a little involved
Hmm.
or around.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like other women challenge other women for that spot. Even though you're not sharing a spot, you have two different roles, both of value,
Hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like men don't really challenge other men like that. Like I just feel like, you know, if me and my dude got married, my baby daddy not gonna give him any issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that his son's mom might not give me any issues
Right.
because women are just like that. Do you think that it's easier for men to blend
I
than
let
women
him
to
answer
blend?
first. No,
You gonna go ahead, Kay, or you going?
I'm let
Okay.
you answer first.
I would say for guys, a lot of times, we just don't want the drama. You know what I'm saying? You all are a little bit more. When I
You
say,
are.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They are. They are.
A lot of times, women. That's the motherly complex, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't, even if you haven't been as involved as you could, that motherly instinct and complex is still there, and you react. You're more emotional, so you react to that. With guys, a lot of times we don't want the drama or the issues, and we want to see that child raised in a peaceful household in a peaceful situation. So if we feel like it's going to be any issues, we would much rather just say, okay, you know, he stay on his side of the track and I stay on mine, and let that be an understanding. But I think what has to happen though, men need to have that conversation. You know, I think especially when it comes to us as black men, you know, I don't think there should be any issue with the stepdad and the dad having that conversation. I think that's probably important for that to happen. It's just difficult, you know, sometimes, and we're territorial too. You know what I'm saying? Like even if we're not as involved as we should be, we're still territorial. You know what I mean? So there's a level of maturity that has to be reached when you're in that situation, and if it comes about whether you know about it or not, or you know, or you know about it, you have to address that. And I think that you know sometimes it's a little bit easier for ladies because there's again that motherly instinct kind of kicks in, and you know, and with guys again, you know, we typically know that there are some boundaries for us there, and you know, and I would say it's good for the gentleman to talk it out as gentlemen rather.
Mm.
I think that for women, for guys, it is easier because women tend most of the time have the children more.
Right. True.
So the guy, so when a stepdad is involved, he typically have more say so because the kids are in the house
Hmm.
with him more. I think that when guy he have his children weekends, not our guys, but weekends, holidays, breaks, or
Hmm.
whatever, right? So we had those kids. A lot of times it's fun
Right.
time, right? So those kids don't feel like they have to have as much discipline or something. So it's me, my experience being in that role. You want to make sure that the little time they have with their father
Right.
is fun, right? So you want to make sure there's fun. You want to make sure that you're not stepping on anybody's
Right.
toes. You want to make sure you don't ruin
Right.
that
Right.
experience. So you want to make sure that a lot of things you're kind of more hesitant on bringing apart. And men are sensitive. Excuse me, men are sensitive about their kids. Not saying
Hmm.
women not, but you see a child acting up, you can't. If he only get his child every other weekend, you be like, well, she needs to be
Right.
disciplined. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You gotta. It's a fine line between that as far as the stepfather be like, y'all need to hush. You
Right.
know, like it's like a different role because they are
Right.
in the house more. And women tend to say, I don't need you being my child mother. I really don't hear men say, I don't need you to be my son father. You know, I never really heard that, but I heard women say, my child don't need another mother. I was told that before, you're
Right.
not her mom. You know,
Ooh.
and I had to say I wasn't trying to be her
Right.
mom. And I had to say some other stuff too, but I'm gonna leave it at that. That I wasn't trying to be her mother.
Hmm.
But I'm here. She needs that
Right.
role, and I'm filling that
Right.
role. You know, and I think a lot of times, and I even see it on Facebook. I see it in comments all the time. And then they always think a woman trying to do something to their
Right.
children. Like they natural
Right.
head go to she trying. She don't, you know, she don't like me. She gonna treat my child bad, and she gonna be my child. You know,
Right.
it naturally goes
Right.
to
Right. Right.
negativity.
I wanted to address two comments. So, top fan Tempest, hey boo. She said that some women feel threatened, like I done lost my man, and
Mm.
now I done lost my child to you too.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's a competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to speak to that because one, I agree with you, Tempest, but two, you have some women that have I lost this man that never even had that man.
Yeah.
Y'all had a baby, but you never had that man, but you still feel like you were robbed of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carlos said he thinks that it's harder for a man to play a stepdad role to a stepdaughter than to a stepson. What
I
y'all think
I
about
think it's the
that?
opposite. I think that it's easier for men to come in and be treat a daughter like when you be a stepfather to a girl. A lot of times you bat them stuff, you treat them. But men, if I had a son that's a teenage son that's 13, 14, it just been me and him for 14 years. Then another man come in trying to tell him what to do, how to move and stuff. I think that's more headbutting than stepdaughter with the guy. I think that from a dad perspective, he might feel some type of way about somebody being a stepfather to his daughter. But from a house merging standpoint, it's difficult merging house when it's all men. You know, like when you're the only woman in a household and it's like men, when men argue or when men get into it, it's different from when women get into it. Or or man and woman get into it. It's way different because you don't even know how to intervene in it. You don't intervene in it, So it's way different. So I think it's easier for a father to come in, a stepfather to come in with a girl because he really gonna stay out the way, probably like buy her stuff, versus coming in with a boy. Especially with men because they see weak spots in boys too that a mom may not see. They see areas that they might not see, and then got to be addressed. And then seeing stuff addressed from a man point of view sometimes hurt your feelings because they see spots you
Hey,
didn't see.
can I speak to that point, Kate? I think
Mm-hmm.
both what you said is really true. It could be a challenge on both sides of it. In particular, when it comes to guys, um, we really don't want any other men around our daughters. There's a defense mechanism that we have when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to our daughters, and even in 2020 with our sons as well. Because we don't know what this dude's background is, and it's not. And it can be viewed that we don't trust the judgment of our children's mom, right? Because even myself now, I'm probably going to wind up on the opposite side of the coin at some point. So it's a matter of knowing that person is going to protect your child, is going to be there for your child. You know what I mean? Because they're going to spend time with them as well. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that there should be a vetting process. Not that you believe that person doesn't have a good judgment, but that's a conversation that definitely has to be had. And especially if even if they're small, but especially after they've gotten older, like you said, they've spent this amount of time, especially boys, have spent this amount of time around their moms. They're very protective. Boys are very protective of their mothers. So a new guy coming in, could be seen as a threat because here, this guy, this kid has been the man of the house, so to speak, especially if he's in his teens. So, you know what I mean? There's going to be some challenges. Like the situation, of course, the movie Baby Boy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Jody was kind of, and one kind of Jody was spoiled. And, Melvin was like a wave that came through and washed him away. You know what I'm saying? So once they got an understanding, you know what I mean? Like Melvin had to choke him out, but once they got an understanding, they were okay. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully nobody has to deal with that type of situation. But I believe that there can definitely be a great challenge there because that young man is now having to give up technically because of how territorial and protective men are, his space to somebody, you know what I mean, to his mom, you know what I'm saying? So there can be a challenge there, you know what I mean? But, again, I believe that if you have that conversation in the beginning as adults and not as like she mentioned, like, hey, this used to be my dude or whatever the case is. Like if you have that conversation as adults, I don't think it's as big of a problem because everybody knows what time it is from the jump.
So blended families, right? Um, say for instance, you married. This for both of you guys. You married and you absolutely love your spouse, and the child never
Mm,
takes to you, and the child, because we're not gonna act like children can't be messy, because
Mm-hmm.
children be mad messy,
Mm-hmm.
and the child is a manipulative child,
Mm-hmm.
and the child does everything that they can to drive a wedge in between the husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it gets to the point where your marriage is kind of now on the rocks because of how you guys have decided to handle the child and the child's antics. What do you do? Do you decide, hey, I got to leave this relationship alone because my child is never going to adapt to this? Or you get a hold to your child? Because I know, and I saw a status today that kind of drove me crazy looking at the thought process of women. But I know that some women, not some women, I know that some people have this my child is right over everybody type thing, even when your child wrong as hell,
hmm
right? And you probably about to lose a whole good thing because you didn't get a hold of your child. Or do you guys decide to work through it? What do you do?
Well, go ahead, Kate.
I
Go. No, you go
oh,
ahead.
go
You
ahead.
go ahead.
I would say that number one, people should know their children. And your children are not always right, right? Um, And if your child is messy and drawing a wedge between y'all, as the biological parent, there's something you gotta get control of. Because you're the biological parent. So as a biological parent, I need to get my child together. Period. Because that's on me. Second, when you get down to it, if this is a genuinely good person and your child just jealous, don't want you to be with their mom or dad, and really trying to break up and was manipulative, I think that at the end of the day, your children gonna go on live their life. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They gonna go home live their life, and and they gonna find their husband, their wife, or whoever, and go build this life on. And without you, they gonna leave. They gonna leave and they gonna live their life. And you building your whole life around children. Your children should be your
Mm-hmm.
priority, a priority of yours. But I think people have to be realistic and know who their kids are. Like I know when my kids
Right.
lie. You know what I'm saying? Like I know who will lie, who won't lie. I know when who being manipulative and who not. And I think that a lot of times, people won't be honest with themselves about who their kids are and what their kids
Mm-hmm.
capable of.
And your children are a priority, but they are
Yeah,
Right.
not your
Right.
sole priority.
Right.
right,
Not
right,
your only. You
right.
also have. I mean, if you everybody ain't no Christian, but if you're a Christian and you
Mm.
took that vow, you have a priority for maintenance of this
Right.
relationship
Right,
as
Right.
well. You know, and a lot of times I feel like it's this tug of war of which is
Right.
more important.
right. And
Is
it's
my spouse or
Right.
is my
no,
child
it's
most
Right. I
no,
important?
agree.
And I don't even think that should be a competition.
no,
Both
Right.
are important in different
Right.
lanes.
right,
And rearing and raising this child is just as important as the maintenance
right. Of
of
Right.
this,
this union.
Right.
right.
That's important
Absolutely.
as well.
You
What
know,
do you think, Sam?
I totally agree with that statement, 1000%, because a lot of times we value how the kids feel above the relationship itself, and that can cause a relationship to suffer in a multiplicity of ways. I do believe that, and especially now after going through counseling myself and going through therapy myself, I think it would be a good idea for before families even begin to blend to have a therapy, to go through therapy to deal with some issues that may have nothing to do with the blended situation at all, but can possibly negatively affect the blended situation. Because there are a lot of things that come out when you become a blended family that you didn't know was an issue. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Some of the issues with the kids when they start to, cause issues or not listen to the step parent in whatever fashion. You not my mama, you not my daddy type of stuff. A lot of times those are deeper issues that really have nothing to do with that individual. You know what I mean? Especially if that
Mm-hmm.
individual is doing everything they possibly can to take care of their child and rear them and raise them as if they were their own. A lot of times there's some deeper stuff that's going on that has nothing to do with them. And I think that before becoming a blended family, before getting married anyway, you need real therapy. And I'm not just talking about marriage counseling and that type of thing. I'm talking about actual therapy to deal with issues that have nothing to do with that person, because the children are very very important, but the children are not the sum total of the relationship. They're a part of the relationship, and so
Right.
we a lot of times we use the kids as the excuse
Mm-hmm.
not to really fix the real issues. And so,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
and they're easy. It's easy to say, well, my baby don't like this and my baby don't. Nah, it's really not your baby. It's something else going on with your baby that needs to be fixed first. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Boy,
And
that off and
you
pass
know,
our
and so.
collection plate.
Put your cash out there.
Listen, listen, we're gonna put the cash app, we're gonna pin it. Listen,
But another
put your
thing,
cash app online, we give you $1,000.
that brought up another issue too. I think a lot of times when you do get a step parent in the house and get a blended family, a lot of issues that your kids have are put on the
Yeah,
forefront too. Because I think as biological parents, we kind of sweep
that's
stuff
right.
under the
That's
rug when it
right.
comes to our kids. We let our
Yeah.
kids have passes, like,
Yep.
ugh, that's
and
just the
and that
way
and that
20
step
years of
parent has nothing
that's
with them.
like,
They're gonna call it
yeah,
how they see it. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
because they don't have they been in a bond. They ain't got that same bond that you
That's
naturally
right.
have with your child. So they kind of outside. They like, nah,
Right.
that shit ain't right.
And one of the root causes of the way we put our children on certain pedestals is the fact that because a lot of times our children don't come from unions, they are the most important thing for so long. Right? They are your main job for so long. And when you do get married, transition is hard. Adapting to being a wife is hard. Adapting to being a husband is hard. And understanding where their marriage lies. And watch where my hands go, where those children lie.
Yeah.
Because we're married, I know everybody don't believe it, because you got people that married, they get married and still say that they kid come first. And no, that ain't really how it
and
works.
I'm telling you, my marriage come first.
I want to address this comment. Well, actually highlight this comment. Danielle Berry, hey friend. She said this is really a challenge with blended families, and if you allow someone to help parent your child, then it should be reciprocal. Children fall under the umbrella of parents. Wife under husband, husband under Christ. They're just, if you're a believer in all that, right? You ain't a believer in all that, then that's cool. A lot of people I know are believers in their faith, and that is kind of how it works. But because we have our babies with our husbands and wives, sometimes
it's hard.
Once it's time to transition into that, you don't know how to file your children up under.
It's one thing I can tell you: going from a single mother to a wife is an emotional, mental, and spiritual transition. You cannot operate as a single mother as a wife, and people don't understand that until you have to do it. You cannot operate the same. You cannot think the same. That's what I was gonna write my book about. From single mother to wife. Like, that is a whole mindset, because a lot of times when you are a single mother, making the sole decision for your children, you are the boss. You are the boss of those children. Even when it comes to my Kevin's super involved. But what I say, he agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this the doctor. This is what they're doing. They're not doing A, B, and C. But then now you have another person in you got a partner that you have to segue things to, and you have to ask your partner or get your partner input on certain things. You know, how that's gonna affect him just as much as it's gonna affect you. Like, even when it comes to school, like, I wanna move to Kyville. He's like, well, how you going to school? You know, me thinking, well, I'm going to take my baby to school. My baby going to White State, you know, but they ain't like that. Okay, so now you got more gas. You know, now I got to pick them up. You know, like, this affect me too. And I think that it's a mindset that when it comes to blended families, that people don't really think that aspect. Like, I want a husband. Yeah, but do you want to give up that sovereignty of being that person? Because you got to give up a certain level, a certain aspect of being sovereign. No matter what people say, you give up those things to be a wife, especially when you run this household and you run these kids.
When your role changes, so does the job description.
Yes, it does.
Simple. You know what I'm saying? When your role changes, so does the job description. And it doesn't make you any less important. No. Doesn't make you any less valuable. It's just understanding that, hey, I used to move like this, but now I move like that. And if you learn how to transition, things will run so much smoother, and you would never ever want to go back to operating like you used to operate. Because truthfully, you were operating, if you're a single mom, you are operating in the mode of survival. It wasn't the best thing for you, but it's, I gotta do what I gotta do. And that whole I gotta do what I gotta do mentality sometimes come into the point, like where you was talking about, you know, Kaylin, like, you will let stuff slide with your children.
Right.
Because you might not have had time to address this, because I gotta make sure lights on, I gotta make sure food, I gotta
cook dinner.
And it's certain things that when you are a single mom, there are certain things that you slack with your children, not intentionally, but it's one you, and you got to decide what is the most important thing for the greater good of everybody.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to bounce off of.
But then when you get a partner and they can see things from a different lens, or they may see the same things that you've always seen and you just couldn't give it the attention that it needs. Now you have a helper, right? And it has to get done. And that transition might not go well if a child might not want to take direction from this person, you know?
That's why building a relationship is important, you know?
You have somebody from the outside, like the ex-spouse or the child's parent, that may not agree with how it's just so many
Layers.
things, so much baggage that you
Right.
could bring in with it if it's not handled correctly. But how do you handle it correctly?
You
Is it in the
need
rhyme
to.
or reason? Do you figure it out how?
I think people are very sensitive about their
Mm-hmm.
children too. I think that that's probably another issue when it comes to blending families, is that you are very, you sense about your shit. Your children
Right.
is your shit, and I think that that's another issue when it comes to blending families, that your feelings might get
Mm-hmm.
hurt sometime by
Mm-hmm.
your partner. I think your feelings might get hurt sometime about the truth of what they see, or things you missed, or things that some gaps that they see that need to be filled. You that is an issue that I hear people all the time when I'm in a blended group, and a lot of times the biggest issue that you see in blended group is that the stepmothers have issues with the way the dad parent their children,
Mm-hmm.
because dads sometimes don't really parent their children. You know what I'm talking about? They take care of their children, they play with their children, but I say all the time, being a parent and being a mother is two different things. Everybody can be a mother, everybody can't parent. Everybody can be a father, everybody can't parent. Parenting is the work. Parenting is the part that's
Yeah.
not fun. Parenting is the
And,
part that that the hard part of it. That's
and
the
I want
hard
to I
part.
want to speak to that
Um,
too.
yeah.
I appreciate the ability to be a parent, um, and it
Mm.
was developed in having parents of my own. Um, I spent a lot of time. My dad worked a lot growing up, and so I saw one aspect of what his responsibility was for the family, and I also saw the aspect of what my mom's responsibility was for the family. And there are things that my mom taught me about parenting that she didn't even know she was teaching me at the time, that gave me balance when my dad was not around. And then once I got older and me and him started to develop a better relationship, I understood the other side of it. And as men, a lot of times in totality, we are not the detailed homework and cooking and so forth and so on. That's something we have to adjust to. And even then, we don't have that same energy. But I've been grateful and I've been blessed to where that energy was bestowed upon me from my mom. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to clean. She was on my tail about my work and school, and it just transferred to my relationship with my children, and I do them the same way. It's tiring. It really is. It's a challenge when you're tired and you still have to get homework done, and that's the part where a lot of times family comes in as well, is having help from your family. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's being a single parent, or as being becoming a blended family, leaning on that other person, because regardless of the situation, that child has to be parented. That child has to be reared. It's difficult. It's ugly at times, and it takes a lot away from you mentally. And so again, and I preach this often. Therapy is very, very important in the familial structure, especially in a black family. Being able to understand what we're supposed to really, really be doing and focusing on. And a lot of times, a lot of our own personal issues relate over to our relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so if I'm the fun dad. I play, I wrestle, but I also I want to make sure that my daughter's hair done a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that my son's teeth are brushed. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure his homework is done. You know what I mean? And so being a parent, in totality, you have to take a lot away from yourself in order to do it, and not everybody's prepared to be selfless. You know what I'm saying? Even if you already have kids, some people are still haven't got to that point where they're selfless. A lot of people they have kids, but as you mentioned, they're moms and dads, but they're not parents yet. So, and that's something we really need to work on collectively.
And I think you can be a parent still selfish.
Absolutely.
Like, I think I can operate from a parental standpoint and still be selfish, especially when it comes to your kids and the way you operate them, or like I said, I think with mothers, a lot of times we used to be in the boss of everything, and that's hard to share when you've
Mm-hmm.
been the boss, even within a marriage. You know, like when it comes to kids, I think you've been a boss.
And you know something, like I'm a new mom. My baby he'll be 6, but they're still fairly new.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Because he's
Yeah.
5 right now, he's a toddler. So, but I am a child of a 2-parent household,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Likewise.
So I want to lean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I want to lean on someone. I want a thought partner. I want this. I don't want to be the boss of everything. I'm forced
Right.
into this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm forced because of the choice that
Right.
I made. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to act like, but I'm forced because of the choice that I made. But I will, like, I'm gonna reach out to my boyfriend at any chance that I can get when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to my
That's
son.
good.
You
Mm-hmm.
know,
That's good.
um, and he doesn't live in Memphis, but he's really invested in
Mm-hmm.
my child, right? And if I was to ever need some help, he the one that's gonna help, right? So I will ask for advice. I do want to know what he thinks. Like, it will never be a power struggle between this my child and this what I'm doing. It'll never be that, because I want to lean. I saw my mom and daddy leaning on each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if you are someone that came from a single parent household, you do inherit that I gotta be the boss. I run stuff because this is how it's supposed to be. Like, my mom even had a conversation with me about how when she became a wife, she had to learn how to let go of running things, because she was a child that grew up in the house with her mom and her brothers, and her mama ran
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when she became an adult, she felt like she's supposed to run stuff, and she had to learn how to be
Right.
a wife, right? But because they raised me, I watched people leaning on each other, so I lean. Sometimes I be thinking I lean on my boyfriend too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I always be letting him know, like, you don't have to do this or you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably think I be talking crazy because he's truly, invested. But it's just like, ain't gonna be no power struggle. Like, I need you to do this with me. I want you to make decisions with me. Like, I need this, because doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
It's just now I never had a power struggle either in any relationship or in my marriage. Like I never was a this my way that
But
I
we know it happens.
yeah it
Like, other
happened.
people.
Yeah. I think that people do this as a defense mechanism
Yes.
too. I think it's a defense mechanism because I think even guys do that. I think it's a defense mechanism of they so used to leaning. Now my mom and dad was off and on back and forth, but I had a big family that
Right.
leaned on each other. They still
Right.
do lean on each other. So I was used to having someone there. But I also grew up when I had my own kids. I seen my mom lean so much. Like for me, it was like I saw her lean so much that I tried to lean away from it because it looked like
Right.
codependency to me.
Right.
It looked like she was
Right.
codependent, and I didn't want that, so I went all the way the wrong
Right.
way. From watching someone that I felt that was too dependent on others. I think that when I see it all the time from women, uh thinking they the end all be all for these children. They think they Jesus when it comes to these kids.
I hate it. I see it on Facebook all the
I do
time.
too.
I hate
I do
it.
it too.
Baby, I was on I don't know, did you see Stacy post today?
Mm-mm.
Stacy had a really, really good post. It was a what you call it? She shared it, so it wasn't her post,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just like these screenshots of this text message of it seemed to be like an older child, like maybe a preteen teenager, because of the way she was texting, who called her mom because she said the dad's girlfriend was looking at her crazy, right? And
A
so,
teenager.
right, so the mom went and picked up the child
Mm-hmm.
without saying anything to the dad. She didn't make her child gonna say nothing to the dad. The child waited outside for the mama to pick her up. And I was looking at the responses of all the women, because if my child say somebody did this, I'm coming to get my child too. Your child said somebody looked at them wrong. You don't want to call and
No.
actually see what's going on in the
Right.
household before you just come and be Captain Kirk and think you're doing something. I was like, women be real screwed
Mm-hmm.
up, and I don't know I do know where it comes from, but I still I try to be empathetic towards Black women, our struggles, single motherhood, and all that type of stuff. But we put ourselves in some positions to be bitter. We put ourselves in some positions to be messy. We put ourselves in some positions like it don't even have to be like that.
I think that a lot of our stuff comes from piss poor conflict resolution skills because and that
Sometimes there don't be no conflict. We
I
start the
know.
conflict.
That's what I'm saying. In poor
Yes.
communication. So I think like I know of, for example, one time I was out of town and Quentin West was beefing, and Quentin texted me like, "Can I go over Kevin?" I said, "No, you gonna stay there. Yeah, I gonna figure it out. I'm out of town. Don't text me. I'm not even there. So y'all gotta figure it out. No, you cannot go. And they was fine within
Right.
5 hours. But if I'm like, yeah, you can go, it would have just made
Right.
more space. And I think a lot of times people have to let people figure it out. If it's not hostile, and it's not violent or anything like that, you gotta stay out of it and let them figure out. Because at some point, especially being a teenage girl, she gotta learn how to talk
Yes.
to people.
Yeah.
She gotta learn how to convey her feelings. And she needs the lady probably had nothing to do with her. She probably had a bad work day. She probably got a bad text
It could
message.
have been so many different
Yeah,
things, but
headache.
nobody tried to figure
Right.
it out. Like nothing actually
Right.
happened.
Right.
She just you just felt like she looked at you a certain way,
Right.
And I was just like, I got on the post, and you know me.
I gotta go look. I
It
ain't seen it.
was a good post though. It was like some really good conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to see people thought process,
Me too.
even if I think they thought process fucked up. I just like to see it,
Me too.
But I was just like, yeah, y'all are agitators in the situation instead of being
Right.
solution focused.
Right.
You're not even gonna tell the child, hey, go speak with your dad. You on the way to get him. You
Right.
you on the way to get her from her father's
Right.
house, right? And then she was upset because she didn't know the father and the woman were living together. And so somebody asked the question. They were like, I think it was Stacy asked the question, do you feel like the father had to tell the mom that he was living with a woman now? Some people was like, yeah. Some people, I was just like, nah. That ain't really none of your business if he's living with a woman now. So I need to know where my child gonna be at. Like I do understand need to know where your child is going to be at. You can have the address, but does he have to let you know all of his business? Nah, because if you trust the father, you gotta trust his judgment
Right.
too. And if you don't trust the judgment of the father, maybe the child need to be with
Hey,
him. If it's an issue where it's a court is involved, custody issue, and the child has to be with them a certain amount of time, you need to go address that with the court, and you need to have some evidence of your concerns so that the court can change up this whole
and,
visitation. You
And
know what I'm
then
saying? You
and,
got to
and
handle it
right.
right.
Right. And mamas get mad when you say that. Like you cannot control who he have your
yeah,
child
and,
around. You
vice
can't. You
versa for
can't.
guys. You can't
Right. You can't
you
control
can
it.
only, and the thing that is most important is the fact that um, even in a situation where you possibly know that the parent is not the best judge of character, when you're with that child, you have to teach them rhythm of what to look for and signs of people they shouldn't be around, and to express that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not give their mom or their dad a problem, but express like when you're uncomfortable with something, you need to speak up and say something. And instead of trying to run somebody else's household, I mean, I've seen it,
Right.
we've seen it a lot where you know it's really not about the safety of the
Women,
child, it's about that other person, you know what I'm saying, and what
It's
they
women
need,
ego.
have
you know what I mean.
they say stuff,
Yeah.
but a lot of times men bluff. Like men, and you better not have my baby around that nigga. Men
Hmm.
say that,
Yeah.
but they kind of pipe down though.
Right.
Women take it really far
Right.
when they know that their child is around
Right.
another woman.
Right.
Not all women, not all women.
What?
What you said in the beginning takes a certain level
Right.
of maturity. I
What?
definitely agree. But women take it to another level, and
What?
I have had bad baby mama
Me
situations.
too.
I had to beat a baby mama ass, and so I'm very like I was in college. I was young.
Yeah.
I ain't above beating ass right now though, so I ain't for the front. But I'm very like I don't know if I should step in. I don't.
Right.
I baby step stuff when it comes to baby mamas or ex wives. parents or children, I'm gonna baby step it because I just don't want it to get to
Right.
that point
Right.
anymore. Cause I not like you, but I ain't gonna do nothing to your
Right.
child.
Right.
Right.
I've been in that situation. Like, I don't like you. I don't fuck with you. I'm never gonna like you. But me and your kid
Right.
cool.
when
You know what I'm saying?
when I was fresh 18, my baby daddy had my child around. He was going behind my back around his other baby mama, and I was what? We was like, yeah,
19, 18,
18.
18 or
We're
19.
18. And I used to act a goddamn fool. Well, again, I was 18. I didn't like her because he would mess with her and mess with me. You know, like it was like a whole drama
Soap
thing,
opera.
soap opera type, hood soap opera. So yes, I was not happy about that, and it was like I said that you better not have my baby around her, you know, because I was
Right.
young and dumb. You know, that's just what it was. 18 years old. Now by the time Caitlin got 20, I didn't
Right.
care. You know, 20, 19, really, I didn't care. You want to watch the baby? You know, okay. We go on to premiere. Who gonna watch the baby? You know, like it was that kind of thing. So, uh, so that's how I was. And so I think a lot of times when I see women still acting like that at 30 and
Oh,
31 and
Right.
32, yeah, Shamika, you did. Me, you, and Dawn was together one time.
what?
She said she wrote me a few times. We went over there one time, remember, and acted a fool.
I didn't roll over there
You
with
was
y'all.
with us. No, yes, you was. Cause Shamika acted more fool than me, cause she made him get Quinn back. She like, give me
Show
Quinn. She
did.
acted worse than me. I don't want my godson around her.
Show
You acted
did.
worse than so
Sure did. That's when you was in the Oakville.
yeah, so that was a long time ago.
That's them
So
Orange Mound folks right there.
Shamika didn't even birth the child. She
That's
was
the
acting worse than me.
Show
that's them
did.
Orange Mound that's them Orange
That's
Mound veterans.
baby Shamika, hey best friend. Shamika is so fake. Let me tell you how fake our best friend is. Shamika is fake. Okay? Shamika have this professional persona. But when I tell you when this girl turn up, baby Shamika turns up,
Yep.
baby.
Yep.
She turns up, and she is not about to play
Like I didn't have
with these children. She
I
ain't
didn't
gonna
have to
play.
say anything that time. Me or Dawn. Shamika when he got the baby, like she birthed him
Girl,
from the
I
dad.
forgot I was there. I forgot I was there literally till you said that because I was looking at Shamika like
She went and got the baby in the baby bag. Do you hear me?
she got the baby out the car.
She got
She
the
went
baby.
and opened up the door
She
and
opened
got the
door.
baby out the car.
She opened the door and got the baby out the car.
Baby Shamika, she is so fake. She is so fake.
Oh boy.
So that was a
Yes. Yes.
long time ago.
Is this part of it too?
Yeah, that's a mess.
Okay, so I'm a pause for a second, y'all, and we're gonna do the giveaway. So this week's giveaway is brought to us by the Shea Organics. Um, and so in this gift box is some hydration conditioner. It smells good. I opened it. I won't even lie to y'all. Y'all know how I am. This is a Frank and Aloe hydrating shampoo bar. So what it looks like, y'all, is that it looks like a little brush, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you put it in your scalp.
Mm-hmm.
And you can shampoo your hair just with the little brush. It just seems really cool. It's a mask. You know, we still in a pandemic. And don't worry about me and Caitlin. I know y'all see us on the screen with our mask on, but that's because we know our status.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Um,
This for the guys.
what's this? It's also something in here for the guys. This is, if I can get inside of it, it's really cute packaging.
Mm-hmm.
Deshay. Oh no, this is it's a jade roller for your eyes. I like these because I get natural bags up under my eyes, and I'm light skinned, so they be showing up all the time. Um, this is beard oil. And what else is this kind? You know about hard, don't you? I should let you do this part. You know all this. Okay, men's face and beard cleanser.
And everything is homemade. She make everything herself.
I like when people talk about like this type of stuff is homemade. Y'all want to know what I don't like when people talk about homemade? When people get to like bragging on their food that's homemade.
It's supposed to be.
Because if you didn't do your banana pudding, baby,
real pudding.
I don't care if you got the banana pudding from Bill Cosby. As long as it's good, we rocking with it. Like, you want some cool points because it's homemade. Because if your macaroni dog, baby, just make sure it hit right. That's all I'm saying. hair restoration growth oil. That's for everybody who, might be losing your edges, or your mama had put that perm in your hair when you were 7 and you still rocking with that story. That's good for you. And moisturizing edge gel. I need some of that right now because my faux locks are starting to turn into real locks. So this is a really good box, and it comes. Did I say it comes with a mask? It does. It comes with a mask.
And she got this nice gift box, the Shea Organic from Michelle Green. Please go like her page. We tagged it in there, and go order some products from her. She got good stuff. Everything homemade and organic.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put the names in the bucket. You know how we do, old school with the bucket. We don't do that electronic stuff because I don't trust electronics. Ever since I had seen the Terminator, I don't trust electronics. Tiffany Nicole, Nastasia Thomas, Molly Bloom, Shamika Wine, best friend. I'm not putting your name in here.
You can't win no more.
The other pistol said you done won too much. So we're gonna put your name to the side, best friend. I'm sorry. We're making up the rules as we go. Laura Wine, Love Jones, V. Washington, Ralisha Wine. Can I pick this time? I ain't got a chance. Yeah, I ain't got a chance to pick. Molly Bloom. Molly Bloom. Are you in here, Molly Bloom? This is actually my sister.
I know. You know they be ready to move on quick. Tell Parker
Molly, Parker, you better say something because they gonna hit you with the net. They be like, okay, they hit you with the Sandman. Molly Bloom.
How dare y'all?
Molly Bloom. Pumpkin going once.
You had a chance to win too, Pumpkin.
Oh, only if you can. Okay. There we go. Molly Bloom. You got this gift box. He said everybody gone. No, she came through. You know, it's a delay between when you guys comment and when we receive it.
They said we missed some names.
We missing some names. I said yours, Jerica. I put yours in there.
Yeah. Jerica in there.
Yep, you was one of the first ones. You were one of the first ones. So, y'all listen. Can I talk to y'all for a second?
Mm-hmm.
We got you, Punk. I'm going to talk to y'all. So, I have been going through it, okay? I have some things going on that's been very difficult for me to deal with. And because of that, Triggered is going to take a recess.
Mm-hmm.
We're not quitting. We're not ending. We're just going to take a recess. You know, when you go outside for a break for a little minute, like in school, because what I got going on is kind of too much to deal with. And we know the show must go on. So the show is going to be continued 2021.
Right.
We were only supposed to do this for 4 weeks. And this turned into something bigger than I think either one of us thought it was going to be. Right. When we tried to stop, people was like, no, like keep it going. We got guests booked through the end of the year. Right. I'm thankful for that.
Giveaways.
We got giveaways. We gonna keep all of that stuff. Yeah. All of our guests they're supposed to come on. You guys are still gonna come on, and we gonna 2021. We gonna start this shit off right. Like we gonna start the year off right.
Right.
But I just can't right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not myself. I struggled through last week's show. I struggled through this week's show. Mm-hmm. I can see it in my eyes, my energy, my personality. It just ain't there. And if I can't show up old yellow style, then I can't show up.
Can I chime in real quick? So
yes, fam.
If you don't know, me and my homeboy Jay will do a podcast called Off on the Tangent Podcast that we've been doing for over a year now, and I was sharing that same sentiment. It grew beyond what we immediately expected. Our expectations are for it to continue to grow. Just a little word of advice is don't quit. Keep going. I've been going through a divorce this entire process. And Jay will tell you it's been some days where he's had to drag me in front of the microphone, and some days where I had to cry my way to the microphone. And but I don't regret any bit of it. I think sometimes, and of course you got to do what's necessary for your personal and mental health. But the podcast myself, for me, has been therapy for me in a lot of ways. And sometimes, people need to see you at your not so best because they can relate to you not being at your best a lot of times. And so, it's again, this is, the podcast has been a blessing for me in terms of that, and it has helped me to come out of some areas of depression that I've had, and just been able to talk it out. You know what I mean? Sometimes I've said some really personal things, but I don't care. It's my truth and it's my story. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I would just say, keep pushing. You know what I mean? The show, I keep up with you guys, and you all have a lot of valuable, very 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 valuable and relevant content to share, especially in a time where black voices, black ideas need to be shared in black spaces. And this is a time where black media is very, very, very important. And I think we're seeing a transition of black voices being at the forefront. And I think what you all are doing is very important. And I think that as much as you possibly can. Again, I dare not try to tell you what to do as far as your personal and mental health, but I would say, we're excited. I was geeked about being on the show tonight. Like, I've been geeked since Kate told me about it, and even my homeboy was geeked about it when I told him about it. And so, just keep it, keep pushing, keep pushing through it, because people need to hear what you have to say. They need to see your face. They need to see you all doing your thing, because you all carry an energy that I think relates to a lot of people. And what you're saying to people and what you're talking about is helping bring some people through tough times right now. So, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I think we need to see Trigger 901 go throughout the rest of the year. And I'm pretty sure some other people that believe that. But again, you guys got to do what's best. You got to do what's best for you. But we want to see Trigger 901. We want to see Trigger 901 on Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Right next to us, where we're headed to. You know what I'm saying? So, we want to do some mashups with Off on the Tangent and Trigger 901 at some point in the near future. So, again, I think that what you all are doing, and what you all are sharing is very relative to the space that we exist in at this time. So, hats off to you guys.
Thank
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sam graduated from Lamar on. Did you
Absolutely,
graduate from
absolutely.
Lamar
I'm a
on, Sam?
magician. Class, yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Class of
He
2003. Shout out to
Work.
LOC.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
HBCUs in the house. You know how we do.
Okay. Good job. You know what? Our first episode, my shirt was an LOC shirt, because I always wear. I always wear black collar shirts, but not tonight, because like, I'm going through it. So I just
Hey,
barely
you made it
made it.
though. You made it.
But I appreciate encouragement. I'm gonna take this little pause, and I'm gonna wrap up 2020, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the atmosphere. We'll be back 2021. It ain't
Wow.
over. It ain't over till we say it's over. We still shooting shots. We still triggering y'all. We still gonna keep you pissed off. But one thing I have noticed since we've been doing this show, we don't piss people off as
No,
much.
they don't be mad at us
I,
anymore.
I,
People
I
can't be
guess
mad at the truth because they have to
people
stare the truth in the face.
elaborate on how
Yeah.
we feel. They don't be as pissed. But baby, we used to have them
Ooh,
fat hot on posts,
yeah.
pissed off. But we appreciate you guys for showing up every Wednesday, participating. We appreciate the black business that's donated, or
Mm.
any black business that we have shopped with in order to give things away. It was important for us to give. What they used to say in my church, give need to come back to you. I know I ain't been to church in a minute, but I remember that part. So, but Kay, you got any last words before we leave them for 2020?
See y'all next year. See y'all in 2021. And it could be what? January, February.
Just know
January,
we coming
January.
back.
I'm
We
rooting for
come
January. Everybody type January in.
We coming back.
we coming back.
We coming back.
We're gonna
2021.
and we got so many good shows lined up.
And keep your pistols locked and loaded, baby.
Yeah,
Keep your
yeah.
pistols locked and loaded. We are coming back. It ain't over. It's just recess. We've been, I
He
got
said December. That's next week.
Jason never wants it to end. Y'all listen. I have enjoyed y'all. I love y'all. Locked and loaded. Keep your pistols up. And we out, baby.
Bye.